Good evening, Speed Racing Network fans. My name is Jake Roell. I'm here with none other than Dean Brummett. Man, Dean, we are here at Kansas Speedway for round two of the first round of our playoffs for Speed Racing Network's Truck Series. Man, how's it going today? How you doing? Are you ready for this race?
Jake, I am ready, buddy. I mean, anytime you get to go into a race and it's named after the real NASCAR event, the Buschy McBuschy Lite 130 here at Kansas Speedway this evening, 85 laps back on these mile and a halves. We've had some short track racing, some plate racing the last few weeks, and, that's all its own skill set, its own here, Jake. But I tell you, it's going to be a very interesting show here this evening. Going to see these multiple grooves come in and see how these drivers can basically go through and work this tire wear.
Yeah, exactly, Dean. We were running those short tracks like you just said. That kind of can rise some guys to the top of the finishing spots for these drivers. Being a little bit better on short tracks. Then we go to Talladega last week. That's a wild card in itself. Anybody in the field has a chance. And here we are at Kansas Speedway. We're back to the bread and butter of oval racing and NASCAR. A mile and a half, like you said. You put the trucks on Kansas Speedway, Dean. I think this is going to be one of the best races we've had in the Truck Series this year.
Yeah, Jake, and being at the I guess you'd call it the halfway point in this race through the first round of the playoffs with three races, it's going to be fun to see who's going to come out on top this evening. Last week we had a little bit of a surprise winner for some, not for me, because it was my pick the whole way in Mr. Byron McDonald. But Jake, I tell you what, why don't we take a look here through the Speed Racing Network Truck Series, so everybody at home can know what it's about. Like we mentioned, we're in the second week of the playoffs. We run a grand total of 20 weeks with fixed setups, meaning everybody has the exact same race truck on track. You may see different paint schemes and manufacturers, but they are all set up identical. They have two fast repairs, meaning that basically if you go through, you have an incident on track, anything of the sort, you can come in two times, basically repair your truck all the way to brand new without having to wait in your pits. In the process of doing so, that gives these guys a little bit of a room for error. They pay $5 a week to enter these races. We pay out each week and at the end of the season. And at the end of the season, that goes a $300 first place championship prize pool. And then we also have a team championship, which consists of 5 people per each team. And that team champion, whoever that team may be, they get $100 at season's end, Jake. So a lot of wealth to be spread around here in the Speed Racing Network series.
Oh, it definitely is, and that's the nice thing between obviously the driver championship payouts. I think that team championship, it really kind of brings your whole team together, obviously, as well as kind of the league. It adds another competition to it besides individually out on the track. Guys are always talking in the Discord. And obviously you and I have been teammates for the last 2 years, and that team championship, it sits in the back of your mind every single race. So these guys are definitely looking out for that. But again, if you want in, you got to hurry because, next season's coming around the corner, and it's a great league to be a part of. But another great thing that we've started here recently, Dean, is going to be matching wits with Gerwitz. He's going to have one of our Truck Series drivers again tonight, Jonathan Byer. So here we go.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are on week 2 of the Truck Series and week 2 of Matching Wits with Gerwitz. We have the 66 of Jonathan Byer here for Jonathan Byer Motorsports. Jonathan, how are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
We're doing actually pretty good. How did you get your start into iRacing?
So it was something I wanted to do for a while, and I just finally broke down and said we're going to do it. And I wasn't racing any leagues really yet, and I was just doing a lot of official stuff. And then I got invited to Mid-South Madness by some other guys, and so that was the start of my league career, and now we're here.
Yes, and I do remember you racing against you in Mid-South Madness, and then you found yourself up in the Truck Series. How did you feel the season was?
The regular season had its up and down moments. As a team owner, you're always wanting all your trucks to do well. We've had a bunch of drivers really close. We just haven't had the luck on our side to win yet this year. But I mean, it shows where we're at in the team standings that we're consistently in position to do so. So I feel like we got one coming. And the playoffs started last week. We had a couple drivers, including myself, that found themselves on the wrong end of things there at the end. But we have 2 really good tracks coming up, so we're hoping we can get most of our trucks to the playoffs. We have more than any other team in the playoffs, so we'd like to continue that.
Yes, and you did mention you have more than any other team in the playoffs. You guys have 4 out of the 5, and you are trailing behind Rev Racing. What is your plan to try to overtake that first place position there?
We talked about it in a team meeting the other day. The only thing we can do is just keep doing what we're doing and hoping the finishes follow. Because we've had multiple drivers finish 2nd, 3rd, 4th this year, and that helps us in team points. Multiple times this year, we've looked at the leaderboard at the end of the race, and we got 4 guys in the top 15. We can't ask for anything better. I'm not wishing any ill luck on the other side of the guys we're chasing, but it's all about ups and downs. We didn't catch our luck early, so we're hoping we get it here at the end.
And that is probably the best plan. What is your team atmosphere like? I know you touched on it, you guys have team meetings and stuff, but I feel like you run your team like a real racing team. Yes.
So, our team model is designed around business. And as you know, motorsports marketing and business is huge. It's what runs the industry. And so our idea starting this was, why can't we take what they're doing and bring it to iRacing and try to use some business-to-business relationships and things like that to generate a little bit for everybody. And so we're thankful for the partners we have this year. We're thankful for the ones that we're in talks with that are going to be with us next year, helping us do some future plans. But that's the way we do things. We want to run it as close to a real team as possible, so we can take advantage of some of the business side of racing with iRacing.
And that is probably the best plan out there. But that is all the time we have today. So I just wish you luck tonight in the race, and hopefully you guys can put up a good showing.
Thank you. We appreciate it. We'll see you out there. I want to give a quick shout out to Extreme Recon and Bullify and Monumental Gaming and Esports for being our premier partners this year. And we're thankful for their continued support. And we're ready to announce some future partners here soon. So pay attention to the Jonathan Byer Racing media platforms.
And that is Jonathan Byer, ladies and gentlemen.
And there you have it, folks. That's Matching Wits with Gerwitz with our Truck Series driver in the 66 truck, Jonathan Byer. Dean, he's a very consistent, clean driver. We raced with him last season in Mid-South Madness Season 2 in the Xfinity Series. And I mean, there's not a bad thing to say about Jonathan Byer, and you can see it right there in that interview. I mean, he's just all class, very consistent on and off the track. And, I mean, it's going to lead into our next thing here, Dean, but Jonathan Byer is definitely going to be someone that's going to be drafted in our All-Star race. But, ladies and gentlemen, we have huge breaking news here at Speed Racing Network. We are going to give you the draft pick order of the 2021 Speed Racing Network All-Star Draft. And rolling off first, I'm opening the envelope here with the number 1 overall pick. The first pick is going to go to Team Silverback, as Captain Sean Griffith is going to have his first choice in all 64 drivers that have signed up for this All-Star Draft, Dean.
Yeah, Jake, and I tell you, I'm not going to point fingers too much one way or the other, but I have a pretty good idea. I know which driver is going to be out front for him. But, Jake, where there's a first, there's got to be a follower behind, and your first loser in the draft, the one picking second, is going to be Team Stemba with team captain Jason Tripp picking second.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. Kind of shocked to see him this high up here. Would have thought we'd see him picking fourth, but, this third pick, it's gonna surprise some people, but it's gonna be Team Buddha with the captain Danny Setzer getting that number 3 pick in the 2021 Speed Racing Network draft. I tell you what, my sources are telling me this is gonna be crazy with all these picks being made. The order is a little jumbled up compared to what everyone thought it was gonna be like going in. That's the beauty of a lottery selection here, Dean.
Yes, Jake, and the joy of it here is when you got those 3, that just leaves one team captain, and that's going to be Team Birdman with Adam Pettit. So, Jake, there's your draft order for the All-Star race, man. So, these guys they've got this week to really go through try and solidify that last chance to really say, hey, I deserve to be in this race, and make their plea to these captains.
Oh, I know, and you know all 64 drivers that are signed up for the All-Star race are just waiting for that phone when they're sitting in the green room waiting to get drafted to see what team they're going to be on. And I tell you what, this 2021 Speed Racing Network draft for the All-Star, the event itself for the draft is going to be awesome. So make sure you check that out. I know we're going to give out some more info later on in the show about that, but moving on, Dean, back to the show tonight. We got race payouts here at Kansas Speedway.
I know. You see that money? Look at that big pile right there that Pettit had. I mean, that just leads in perfect, Jake.
Exactly. And, first place, Dean, you pay $5 to get in this, and, you multiply it by 5. That's $25 for our winner. Second place is going to get $15. Third and fourth still coming home with 10. So you're still doubling your money there. And then, if you finish 5th, 6th, or 7th, you walk away, breaking even. So, the pay window is out here at Kansas Speedway with the casino outside of turn 2 here. So these drivers are definitely going for that money.
Yeah, Jake, that's one of the fun parts about racing, whether it be real life or here in the iRacing simulation software. Man, getting paid is always fun. And I tell you, not just these single race payouts, but also our season-long payouts sponsored by Griffith CPA firm. First place, we mentioned at the top of the show, Jake, at the end of this playoff, going to go $300 to our champion. Second place is going to get 150. Third place will get 100. Fourth place will get 75. Fifth will get 50. And then that team champion, whichever team accumulates the most points at season's end, because there is no playoff for that system, they'll split $100. So a lot of cash on the line here.
Oh yeah, especially if you're one of those top 5 and you're on that winning team. I mean, that's even more money in your pocket. But something else you can win within our league, another great sponsor we have here at Speed Racing Network, is that butt kicker, and you can win that by being the clean driver or the cleanest driver in all 3 series. You got to have the lowest amount of incident points per lap, Dean, and I know you're leading it right now somehow in the Cup Series, but and if you aren't fortunate enough to win it in any of our 3 series, you are able to use our discount code with butt kicker. You just got to go there, process your order, and make sure you type in the promo code SRNVS20. You'll save 20% off your order, Dean. That's huge.
That is, Jake, and hopefully I can close that one out there to win that one in the Cup Series. I got to looking at the standings, and right now I'm leading it, and I've got 200 more laps than the guy who's in second. So right now, hopefully at season's end, I'll have somewhere to put this butt kicker, because right now the lawn chair that the COVID Crusader uses for racing, I just don't know how butt kicker will work on it.
Yeah, we might need to check with Microsoft to make sure that Excel file is accurate, but kind of surprised to see you up there. But all kidding aside, though, we're moving into our team standings, and right here, brought to you by Sandwich Man Racing Sports Memorabilia. Make sure you check them out on Shopify. They got great stuff, die-cast shirts, T-shirts, or shirts, hats, anything like that. But first off, you saw their logo there. It's going to be Rev Racing. They've got 4 wins on the season. 3 of their drivers have won so far. That's why they've got almost a 200-point lead over second place, Jonathan Byer Racing, who you saw obviously their captain and owner, Jonathan Byer, in the matching wits with Gerwitz. Third place, Dean, another 3-time winning team, is going to be R&D Motorsports. They're 295 points out of the lead, or 395 actually. But I think it's really tough for these teams further down this list.
Yeah, Jake, when you go and you look at something like Stryker Motorsports in 4th, Bronco in 5th, Team SRN in 6th, Tank Racing in 7th, and H2K Motorsports basically, being out of the playoffs at this point. You go through, and a team like Bronco, even though you got 6 wins, you got a pretty high mountain to try and go through and scale. So, they talked to JBR a little bit ago, or Jonathan Byer, the head of JBR. I'll tell you, Jake, if they can put together 4 quick wins here towards the end of the season, they might be right back at the top of that point.
Oh, yeah, and that's the thing with it. But, and again, we got that second-tier playoff system for all of our guys that weren't able to make it into the top 15, brought to you by Flavor Bomb. Make sure you check them out on FBBBQ.com. They got great seasonings, everything like that you would need. And here you go. This is our standings here for the second-tier standings after the first race of the playoffs last week at Talladega Super Speedway. You see Vincent Cortez leading this thing so far by 3 points from Tank Racing. And, this is it's a nice thing, if you don't make the playoffs, you're able to still kind of compete, with those guys. And, you're going for a prize yourself if you're one of these 19 drivers so far.
Yeah, Jake, definitely a fun thing to have to keep guys around. But I tell you, Jake, let's jump into the playoff standings themselves. You look here, you got Cole Martin, who's our points leader, Corey Saucier there in second, Michael Madden in third, Andrew Harrison fourth, Nathan Nixon in fifth, Byron McDonald, last week's winner, jumps up to sixth.
Yeah, Dean, that's actually a little error right there. That's all right though. We don't have the updated ones, but we will get to that, and we'll move on though with our leader right now in the playoff for the playoff season. It's going to be Andrew Harris at 87 truck from Bronco Motorsports. He's got 2 wins on the year, so he's looking to make it 3 here at Kansas Speedway.
Yeah, Jake had himself a pretty good third place finish last week at Talladega, and now it looks like actually with points he's got a 26-point advantage above the cut line, and the next guy who's right behind him is actually going to be Byron McDonald. Last week he was 6th in points, but got his first ever win with Speed Racing Network at Talladega. Actually his first podium of the year, so he's got a little bit of breathing room above the cut line. Maybe he could get a little. If he could go out and win here at this mile and a half tonight, I think it would be a great run for him.
Oh, no doubt. And that's the beauty of it. And we're going to have third place right now in the playoffs is going to be that 85 truck of Cole Martin, another Bronco Motorsports driver. He's got 4 wins. He's rattled it off coming to a close in the regular season, but he found trouble last week at Talladega, but that's all right. All those bonus points, he's got, a good cushion. He's still third, and he's actually he could become the youngest Speed Racing Network champion. He's a little bit younger than most guys, but hey, man, you would never guess that out on track.
No, definitely a great driver. And next driver up is actually Josh Mueller, the driver of the number 26. Last week he jumped from 10th in points after a very clean 4th place finish at Talladega. He's actually only got 4 top 10s in the first 11 races of the season, but he's currently, Jake, on a streak of 3 in a row. Now, I think if he can go through tonight, make it a top 10 or a top 5, you very well could see him punch his ticket to the next round.
Yeah, that's the beauty of the playoffs, and we're going to lead that right here to Bobby Anderson, who's in 5th place right now. He was tied for 7th last weekend at Talladega. Now he's in 5th, and that's the thing. You might not have a great regular season, but you start off the playoffs with a top 10, like the 18 truck of Bobby Anderson have, and you could set yourself on a roll through these playoffs. And again, Dean, Bobby's pretty decent at these mile and a halves. He's had 3 top 10s so far, on these mile and a half tracks. So we got to watch out for this 18 truck for rolling off another top 10 and solidifying himself in the top half moving forward into Dover next week.
Yeah, Jake, and another driver coming up in 6th place here who's shown speed all night on our speed charts here at Kansas is Brandon Domain. Last week, he was towards the bottom of the points list and jumped up here 7 positions to 6. Now, I tell you what, he's only missed a top 15 twice in the last 7 tries on these mile and a half races. And in all those races, he's had very few incident points. So I think here tonight, Jake, being clean like Brandon Domain is could wind up working very well in his favor.
Oh, no doubt. And again, we're going to see our 7th place driver right now. It's going to be that 61 truck of Matt Johnson for Jonathan Byer Racing. He maintained his 7th spot after finishing 12th last week at Talladega. But, Dean, I think he's going to be driving his truck really, really hard tonight, trying to make a good run here at Kansas because he's kind of had a little bit of bad luck or just struggled on these mile and a halves. But, the playoffs are here, and that's what we saw last season in Mid-South Madness. He ended up being one of the 5 finalists for a championship last season. So the 61 truck's gonna get going. He's gonna get all geared up, and he's gonna be coming for that.
Yeah, Jake, and I tell you, another one that's going to be coming for the front here is going to be Michael Madden. Last week, he was 3rd in points, and he stayed near the front of the pack for most of the Talladega race before getting involved in a few incidents. It actually dropped him back to a 25th place finish, and if I'm one of his fans, and I tell you, Jake, I am, he's a great driver. I'm not too worried about a plate race. We've been talking about everyone's stats on these mile and a half tracks. This year, he's got 7 races, 6 top 5s with 2 wins. I think that's one to definitely keep your eye on tonight.
Yeah, I think Michael Madden's going to be all right. And we're going to see our 9th place driver here, that 92 truck for Team SRN. Last week, he finished 14th, in a crazy, crazy race. And he was 13th, tied for 13th place in the standings going into Dega. And you see how a 14th spot in the previous race can kind of move you up the standings. And we got Robert Yost here in 9. He's only 9 points though above the cut line, Dean. So he's got to have a good run here tonight to make sure going into Dover, he doesn't have to worry about Miles the Monster at the Monster Mile in Dover, Delaware. So 92 truck, you just got to stay clean and get out of these wrecks.
Yeah, Jake, and next up you got Corey Saucier, who went into the playoff second in points and had some problems at Talladega. He fell quite a bit, and he's now the cut line drivers. But Jake, like I said, he hasn't finished lower than 8th on these mile-and-a-half tracks. So I think you're going to see some consistency out of this number 2.
Oh, no doubt. That 3 truck is always fast. And, another guy that's always fast, we saw his team there. They don't have wins, but Jonathan Byer, like we said, is very, very consistent. Last week was definitely a disappointment. We saw him on the final lap in the top 5 and all of a sudden smack the wall and get stuck. Absolutely killed his race last week at Dega, finishing 20th. But let's be real here, Dean. We know Jonathan Byer personally. As long as I think he, gets out of, or stays away from the wrecks. He's got 2 top 10s so far on mile-and-a-half racetrack. So, Dean, I wouldn't be pumping the worry brakes if I was the 66 or any fans of JBR.
No, Jake, and that leads into Jack Johnson, and he's had a little better luck than Jonathan Byer at these mile-and-a-half tracks, but he really needs a good finish tonight and this week to get beyond the cut. I think if he has a bad race this week, Jake, Jack Johnson may be done with these playoffs.
Yeah, and again, it's going to be this 13th place driver too, Kyle Wimble, the 91 for JBR. Last week he was 10th, he finished 27th. You definitely can't have that again this week leading into the final race. So you just got to make sure you're finishing. Don't get yourself in any wrecks, and you got to be there at the end of these races to have good finishes.
Yeah, Jake, and next up you got Jose Castellanos, teammate to Brandon Domain. Last week it was a very rough race at Talladega. He finished almost dead last. He had a great start with 3 top 10s, but he's fallen off a bit later here in the season, and he'll need to go through and channel some of that early season success if he wants to get back into this playoff.
Yeah, I got to agree. This same here with our final playoff driver is going to be the 33 truck from Rev Racing. You see he's got 1 win. That was on a road course. And, if he gets himself into this next round, we got a road course to start off round 2 at Circuit of the America. So Nathan Nixon, he's got to find that pace he had early on. It just seems like he's had the accident bug with him. And here we are, Dean. You see these trucks. They're already lined up. We're going to run down the starting grid for this Buschy McBuschy Lite 130.
Yeah, Jake, on pole, you got Andrew Harris from Bronco Motorsports. Second, you got Cole Martin for Bronco. Third, for R&D Motorsports, is Corey Saucier. Michael Madden for Rev Racing in 4th. Cody Riggs there in 5th on the 224, and Brandon Domain for Stryker Motorsports there in 6th.
And 7th place is going to be Vincent Cortez from Tank Racing. Evan Scott for Filthy 5 is going to be rolling off in 8th place. Matt Johnson, that 61 truck, he's going to be charging hard for Jonathan Byer Motorsports in 9th. And 10th place, we got the 4 truck of Jose Castellanos. 11th is going to be Jack Johnson as well. Another Jonathan Byer Racing driver in 11th. And rounding out our top 12 is going to be that 26 of Josh Mueller from Tank Racing, Dean. So, I think we're going green right here, so we'll make it quick, Dean. Who's going to be your pick for tonight?
Yeah, Jake, I got to go with Michael Madden. Just too much consistency on these mile-and-a-half tracks. Last week, you could tell his aggressiveness. He wanted to get after the thing, and I think this week he's going to be just as hungry, if not a little more.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think a guy that, might have won quite a few on some short tracks. I think if you remember the last mile-and-a-half we went to was Atlanta. That 85 truck was in victory lane. So Cole Martin's going to be my pick. His teammate's going to be leading us to the green. And the green flag is out, Dean, for the Buschy McBuschy Lite 130. Andrew Harris in the 87 truck with Corey Saucier already up to his back bumper as they head down into 1.
Head down into this multi-groove turn number 1 here, Jake. And for the early part of this race, you'll see these guys right down here near the bottom. But as these tires wear out, you'll slowly see them move up the track. These trucks don't have a ton of horsepower, so Cole Martin, working his way off of turn number 2 towards the back bumper of Harris, is going to have the absolute preferred line as Harris ducks down in front of Corey Saucier, and he gets a little loose, Jake. What a save! Corey Saucier and Andrew Harris goes around. Jake, that is 2 of our playoff drivers.
So far though, I don't see too much damage on either 2 of these trucks. The 87 got loose underneath them. We saw the initial, big sideways from the 87, but then again he kind of got loose and tried catching, and that's when he caught the left rear quarter panel with Corey Saucier, Dean.
Yeah, Jake, let's take a look at the Sandwich Man Racing Sports Memorabilia Rec replay. Andrew Harris gets super loose heading in for turn number 3. It makes it 3 wide off the corner. And then I couldn't really tell if, in the process of trying to save that race truck, if he drifted up a little bit into the 3 of Corey Saucier or if it was just incidental contact. But definitely a big moment there for a bunch of our playoff drivers.
Yeah, we're going to see it right here, and you kind of can see it.
Yeah, that was a save.
Loose again. Not sure if maybe he could have hit the apron, Dean, and it kind of sent him up the track a little bit too. But yeah, you can see right there from that camera angle. The 3 truck doesn't look terrible, so I don't know if I'd be using a fast repair just yet this early. You know, we've got 85 laps here, Dean. This is a long, long race. Very fortunate that neither of these drivers went up into the field, and you know, we saw even more trucks get collected.
Yeah, Jake, if I'm the rest of the field, I think I've got to thank Corey Saucier for his sacrifice right there, because with the snappy loose that Andrew Harris was just trying to fight through right there, if he would have turned at that exact same angle going back up the track, that could have been his teammate Cole Martin, you know, rather than himself, and then who knows how many other drivers could have gotten collected. So, you know, it's early in the race. You've got a long way to go. You know, I know that Corey as well as Andrew both have to be frustrated, have to be a little gutted at this point, but you just got to pull those belts tight, Jake, re-rack, go back out here and do this thing again.
Oh, yeah, you got to feel for the 3. Obviously, it was incidental there between him and Andrew Harris, but if you remember from last week at Talladega, man, Corey Saucier got the short end of the stick by towing without having his fast repair clicked, and, you know, I'm not trying to obviously bring up any bad memories for Corey, but he just lost so much time, because if you don't have that checked and you tow and you got a fast repair, man, you got to wait for all your required repairs, and that kind of wrote the ship for Corey Saucier last week. And here we are, lap 1, you know, incidentally gets contact from another truck, sends him to the back. You know, they're spinning through the grass. Now he's got to turn this night all the way around. It's the flip of the switch, man. Coming through this field, I think tonight it's going to be tough. I think obviously it can be done, Dean, but I mean, when you start P3 and all of a sudden you're lined up in the back of the pack, man, it kind of just it puts you in a fog mentally.
Yeah, Jake, it's going to be a tough one. I mean, there is no doubt whatsoever that these drivers are going to be fighting through a lot to try and make it back up through the field, especially at a track like this. You got 2 factors, well, 3. Number 1, you're going to have tire wear big time with this aero package. Number 2, your track position, and it's going to be hard to get to passing once these trucks have gotten up to speed and there's a little bit of tire wear. And number 3, Jake, the biggest thing you have to look at is, I mean, hey, these guys are out here to race too. Whether they're in the playoffs or not, they're not just going to roll over and give you spots because you have that blue banner.
Absolutely. And, you know, Dean, also, we got the second-tier playoff too. So even if these guys obviously aren't in the actual top 15 playoffs, I mean, everybody on the track is racing for something one way or another. So you got to keep that in your mind. You know, don't get too aggressive early on. You know, you just got into an accident. You got saved by not needing a fast repair really early on. So just you got to stay out of it. I think we're going to see some bigger wrecks eventually. So if you're that 3 in the 87, they definitely have the speed to get through the field, and it's going to be something to watch. You know, this place is fun. I was running some practice early on with some guys in the truck series here. And I mean, this place is a blast, Dean. Well, like you said, going into 1 at the initial start of the race, it is a multi-groove racetrack now, thanks to iRacing, with that recent update a few weeks ago. So I think this racing tonight, especially, Dean, if we get some green-white checkers, man, you're going to see moves like you've never seen before, I think. And, you know, you throw it on top of the fact we're in the playoffs, it's going to get pretty spicy, buddy.
Oh, yeah, for sure, Jake. And I tell you, for everybody who's at home who's trying to keep track of who's in the playoffs, who's out, I know we did a whole big segment on it a few moments ago. Our wonderful PR, technical, pit reporter, IT guy, whatever you want to call him, Sean Griffith, has made it easy for the fans at home. All the drivers who are in the playoffs, if you're looking at the on-track action, they have a blue banner over the top of the cab of the race truck, as well as their rear spoiler is blue. And if you look up at our top banner going across the screen, the ticker, any driver who is currently in the playoffs, you will see highlighted in green. So, Jake, I tell you, back there, you see Andrew Harris, you see Corey Saucier, but Rob Yost is 2 laps down already, Jake, so he's going to have him a night as well.
And not too sure what happened with the 92, but I tell you what, Cole Martin is already on the loud pedal here. He's got a good jump on Michael Mann. Kind of, you know, Michael Mann is very good at restarts. You know, timing them, and you know, he's aggressive with that. And to see him kind of get pulled away by another truck is a little shocking. But I think you're going to see here this draft down the backstretch. Michael's going to reel Cole back in, and then it's just a matter of who goes where as they head down into 3.
Yeah, Jake, and this is the big thing right now. You know, we saw him last time they came through here, a little bit of loose on the low line. Looks like this time Michael Madden's just going to pull right back up to Cole's back bumper as you see him fan out 2 wide behind him. As this race continues to go on and these tires continue to burn, Jake, Michael Madden's going to have to look for some other room, and he may find it right here. He's going to go to the outside of Cole Martin, try to use that highline momentum, and Cole's going to move up and shut the door. Michael's going to have to go below him here as caution's out on the speedway, Jake.
Oh, we got a big wreck. Bobby Anderson.
Oh, playoff drivers. Bobby Anderson. There was another one involved there, Jake.
Oh, man, you saw the 87 get by it. I'm not sure where Corey Saucier was. You know, those 2 guys were back there in the pack together. So it makes you wonder if these 2 drivers made it through. And sure enough, it does look like the 3 truck and the 87 avoided that wreck, keeping their trucks clean. But again, we see again the second wreck, Dean. More playoff drivers involved in an accident. I believe it's going to be the 18 of Bobby Anderson and the 23 of Byron McDonald were definitely collected in this wreck.
Well, let's take a look. Oh, and Jonathan Byer as well, Jake.
Oh, he gets into
man. Byron McDonald, Jonathan Byer. I can't. Then it looks like Jonathan Byer goes down into Bobby Anderson, and then you get a few more guys piling up.
Oh, wow. 87, Andrew Harris just missed that accident.
Tevin Whitner barely kept it out of the inside wall there, Jake. I don't know if that was a net code situation or if Jonathan Byer may have thought that he was clear to the outside. I'm not sure what happened, Jake, but there was definitely 2 trucks trying to occupy the same piece of real estate, and that just does not work out.
Yeah, and you see all those trucks that were behind the 66 of Jonathan Byer and Byron McDonald as they headed into 1. It all happens in front of them, and then these trucks here are trying to get under the 66 of Jonathan Byer, and there's just not enough real estate for these guys, and you see them running into one another. Man, Walt Lepicki taking a hard shot. I think Brian Crocker, the another Bronco Motorsports truck, got involved there as well. Looked like he got into the fence behind him trying to avoid this thing. Michael York avoids that wreck, that 81 truck down there. Mike Lewis, I see, blew his engine there too, Dean. Man, there was a lot of trucks involved. That wreck happened into 1 and, at the whole corner.
Yeah, Jake, that's what's crazy when it comes to the 1.5 mile package with these trucks. For the first few laps after a restart, this thing looks darn near like a plate track, like a Daytona or Talladega, just how close these guys are. There's huge runs that get to be made, and sometimes with it, it's a little harder than what it sounds like to go through and hit the brakes, especially when you're trying to get everything that you can out of it. But that's going to be our second Sandwich Man Racing Sports Memorabilia Rec replay of the evening. Jake, I tell you, some of our fans may have heard me talk about it the last couple weeks, but I got a recent package from Sandwich Man, and man, I tell you, some of the die casts that he included in that lunchbox for me were just primo quality, and stuff from the earliest memories that I have of auto racing, and stuff a little more recent, stuff a little more sentimental to me. So, like I said, I just want to give a big shout out to him and thank him for his business, and thank him for everything that he wound up sending to me.
Absolutely, and definitely check him out. There's all kinds of stuff, whether it's like you said, kind of the retro era of pre-2000s diecast in the 164s, where he's got awesome 124 selections. So make sure you check him out on Shopify. You will not be disappointed. Awesome guy. So make sure you check him out. A great sponsor that we have here in the league. And, a truck he sponsors, Odine, is up front. Cole Martin, we saw this a lot at the short tracks. He was just up front, and the yellows were coming out, and, he just leading these laps as they all tick off. And, especially at a track like you said here, these restarts are chaotic. I'd say the first 5 to 10 laps, it's get what you can before it single files out, and it's about who saves the most tire, because then the long runs come, and, if you're burning your stuff up too early, you'll be falling back into the middle of the pack.
Yeah, Jake, and as someone who has burned more than my fair share of sets of tires in these races, I can tell you that is one of the most hopeless feelings that you can have. You almost feel like there's something mechanical wrong underneath the vehicle just because of how fast you can fall back. But I tell you up front, you got two of the best in terms of tire management, Cole Martin and Michael Madden. So, Jake, we're going to get ready here. Lights are out on the pace truck, so we're going to be getting ready to go green here again. And for anybody who's following the playoffs after that last caution, it was Byron McDonald, Walt Lipicki, and Mike Lewis all had to take a tow. Byron McDonald is currently 1 lap down. Walt Lipicki is 2. Mike Lewis is 2 laps down. And due to the lucky dog rule, Rob Yost got one of his 2 laps back, Jake. So he's hoping for another quick caution, get back there, and start running his way through this field.
Yeah, definitely. Rob Yost, that 92 truck, just needs one more yellow and to avoid the wreck, and he'll get another lap back, and he'll be back on the lead lap. So that's huge. That's what he wants, because this place can go on a long green flag run, and if you're multiple laps down, man, that is not what you want to see, because then obviously getting those laps back it's pretty difficult. Not saying it can't be done, but it takes a lot of work. But I tell you what, someone that's put in the work are these 2 guys up front. Obviously these guys have been up front all season long, and not a surprise to see them here, but got some other guys behind them, scattered through the top 10 that we said, Dean, they really need those good runs, and with a lot of these other playoff drivers having bad ones so far tonight, this is what you need.
Yeah, Jake, green flag comes back out here. Cole Martin leads us down for turn number 1. Looks like 224 of Cody Riggs is going to try to get under the 15 of Michael Madden. We saw him out front a little bit at Talladega, Jake, and here he is up running towards the front with a good run. He's going to clear Michael Madden off of turn 2, force the 15 driver back to the 3rd place, under fire from Brandon Domain, and the risk of possibly losing 3rd to fall back to 4th.
Yeah, and that's his teammate too, the 224 Cody Riggs, getting by Michael Madden for 2nd, and now obviously you see Brandon Domain on the inside of Michael Madden, and then he's got Matt Johnson, that 61 truck, right behind him. So 3 playoff guys right now in 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So this is a pretty, heated battle right here. Although Michael Madden's going to drive away from him with a big run through 1 and 2 up to the rear bumper of his teammate. He's going to look to the inside as we ride along with Brandon Domain in 5th right now. And we got another big
down the back
big accident. That's Cody Madden involved, that 17 truck.
Oh, 48. That's going to be the driver.
Evan Scott, Filter 5 Motorsports.
Oh, man. He had nowhere to go, Jake. Nowhere at all.
Not at all. Again.
Oh, my goodness.
Again, Dean, another Sandwich Man Racing Sports Memorabilia wreck replay. We're going to see what happened here. It was on the backstretch of Kansas Speedway. And again, man, it's just cautions breed cautions. Here we go. We see... We'll back it up some more here. This is off at 2. Looks like the 48 and 17 made contact out of 2. Probably just 2 guys thinking they had a little bit more room than they had, and there's not enough real estate for everybody, right, Dean?
No, not at all, Jake. And I tell you, one guy who barely squeaked past that looks to be the 97 truck of Sean Kozier. He got to see everything in front of him. Watch, you'll see him come flying by to the left. Whoop, they're just barely missed that.
These 2 trucks run into each other again.
Yeah.
And you hope the 48 it's got power, because you saw the smoke, and not sure if the second hit would have blown the engine, but you can see right there, they kind of just net code and get into one another. It's the 71 of Travis Trevelyan, another playoff, or 75, James Kerr, JBR driver, hitting the inside wall. And Dean, I mean, if you ask me, it seems like the wrecks, kind of multiply, trying to avoid them so far here tonight.
Yeah, Jake, I think more than anything, I'm not going to call this one so much net code. If you look here, you got Cody Madden there on the inside in the 17, and to me, it just kind of looked like it looked like the 48 of Evan Scott got loose to his outside. The rear end started to come around a little bit, and just 2 guys running super close for position and kind of got him around and set off that big one down the backstretch. I mean, I'm usually one of those people, I like to try and be as neutral as I can be on it, but just from my 2 cents worth, Jake, it just kind of looks like the 17 had a little help there besides just the internet connection. Yeah, not intentional.
You saw a truck come flying by. That's going to be our lucky dog driver. That's going to be the 92 of Rob Yost Jr. for Team SRN. So, Dean, lap 15, he's got both of his laps back from being 2 laps down early on in this thing. So, now he's just got to make sure he makes his way through this field. there's a lot of trucks that are, quite a few laps down. We've only got 28 drivers on the lead lap. There's 33 trucks so far, so you've got 5 guys already, off the lead lap. So this 92 truck can make some more moves, fix a little maybe damage it seems he's got on the right front. And I think he can gain some more spots throughout this night.
Yeah, Jake, like you said, a little bit of damage there on the right front, but, if he's still got those fast repairs in the pocket, kind of watching these races happen here the way that they are may not be a terrible thing by the time this thing ends.
No, not at all. If I'm one of these drivers, I'm taking note of that, or hoping my spotter or crew chief or whoever you got helping you out throughout this race, if you got anyone, is, writing it down, saying, listen, man, if you even get a little bit of damage, it ain't worth it, because if this turns into yellows after yellows towards the end of this thing and you get wrecked and don't have any, there's not much your pit crew can do here at the iRacing Kansas Speedway with the virtual pit crews down there, Dean.
No, Jake, not at all. I tell you here, another driver we had mentioned a little bit ago was Cody Riggs, running in honor of his father here this evening, Jake. If I'm not mistaken, I believe he had told us that this was the last track that he and his father had attended before he had passed. So, he's up there running second, got him a great run going, and, would love to be able to see that 224 be able to pull himself one off tonight.
Absolutely. There's no better feeling than that if you're the 224 to be able to do that here. With the value it holds for you and for Cody and his father, that'd be awesome to see for Cody Riggs and that 224 for Rev Racing. That would just it'd make it a little bit easier for him. I know it's not easy what he's going through. Personally, I've gone through that, so nothing but respect for him to be out here tonight. Running here, and we hope to see the 224 in victory lane, if not a podium, Dean. That'd be awesome. And here we are, though, Dean, back up front. 85 Cole Martin going to have another restart here. Once we get out of turn 4, that pace truck will come off. And I tell you what, he better look in his rear view, because that 15 truck of Michael Madden is going to be right behind him. So I think he's going to get a better jump than what Michael was getting on the outside of Cole. So this is, I think, if it stays green into 3, Dean, on this restart, I think we're going to see a move by the 15 to get that lead.
Yeah, Jake, whoever's got the inside line here definitely has an advantage when they head for turn 1, just because it's so much shorter of a distance around. Whoever's on the outside, whoever's on that next row behind, they definitely get a run on the inside guy, but that guy on the outside gets a huge run off. So for Cole Martin, the restarts are definitely important. Cody Riggs spins the tires just a little bit. Michael Madden gets going here in the 15 down on the inside, and they're going to be side by side heading for turn number 1. 15 truck definitely has to move here, Jake. Got to get this 224 clear if he wants to have a shot to reach back around here to Cole Martin on the next go around. And it looks like the 224 is actually going to be a little bit under pressure from the 61 there of Matt Johnson.
Yeah, Matt Johnson to the inside of Cody Riggs, going to take over P3 as they dive into turn 3. But you see Michael Madden back down to the bottom, trying to hunt down Cole Martin for the lead of this thing. And, Matt Johnson making that inside work on the 224. I don't know how well that will work later on a run on the inside. I think the high line's going to prevail. But right now, that 61's trying to take over P3 and set his sights for the lead and try to, get in this 2-truck fight for the lead with, the top 2 or 2 of the top 3 drivers, I'd say, so far this season.
Yeah, Jake, and I tell you right now, you just see that run that 224 has. Matt Johnson's going to try to throw this slider up in front of him here. He doesn't quite have the room he needs to clear him, and that's going to let the 224 get another run to his outside. But I think right here, the 61, you may see his door number listed as 62 just because of the paint scheme that he is running. But he is going to get clear. They're going to get back down to the bottom, and these trucks are just going to kind of suck right back up here, Jake. Look at Cole Martin trying to snake down the backstretch, trying to kind of break that draft between he and Michael Madden.
And that last time through 1 and 2, Michael Madden flipped the apron, kind of sent him up the track a little bit. That's why you saw the 61 get back to Michael Madden. But then the draft from Cole's going to get Michael Madden right back up to the front. These two, it's kind of a 4-truck breakaway as you see the 61 to the inside of Michael Madden. It was going to be too wide for P2, kind of flashes you back to Martinsville. These 2 drivers were side by side and some contact was made. So we got a little bit of a battle for P2 right here, Dean.
Yeah, Jake, and right now I'm a little shocked here that Matt Johnson's able to make that inside lane work as well as what he is. Cole Martin gets a big move right there. He's going to move down trying to stop Michael Madden. They're going to make I don't think they made contact here, Jake. But right here, Michael Madden has got to get past Cole and set sail. I couldn't tell if Cole had gotten tight, if he had gotten loose.
Cole's going to try to do it around the outside, though, Dean.
Yeah, he's going to move back out to the outside here, Jake. That was a big moment there for Cole Martin. I couldn't tell if what had happened, but something sent that truck way up the track. As you see him now move up by the wall, he's going to get a big run here off of turn number 4, and this is going to let him propel right back past Michael Madden.
Oh, yeah, but I think they're able to keep it wound up on the bottom enough, and with running the bottom, you get to run that apron down the front stretch, so it shortens the track, and it kind of compensates for the faster speed that Cole's running on the high side. But these guys are door to door for the lead right now. Michael Madden is just trying everything he can do. I got to imagine on that inside to get clear the 85, but Cole's not giving up. But that 224 truck trying to peek back to take over P3 from Matt Johnson.
Jake, if you're Cole right here, you've got to be super careful. You had a big moment.
Clear him down the front.
Yes, he will, and this will let Michael get back in line and hopefully be able to diamond his corner off the way he wants to. But, Jake, right there, you saw Cole kind of move down the track a little bit, kind of crowd Michael, and you got to be careful right there, man. I mean, you had a big moment just a little bit ago. If Michael has the same big moment and gets shot up the track and you're right there on his door, guess what? There's nowhere for you to go. So right now, I mean, it worked out in Cole Martin's favor, but I think Michael's going to remember that as we come down towards the end of this race.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's crazy watching this race, how the two lanes are really working. It pays off for one guy on the inside into the corner, but then that outside line just rips off the top and you get such a run, and you're able to clear him or, kind of battle him back, even though he's going to get a bigger run into the corner. But right now, Cole is just loving what he's seeing in his rear view, as second and third are side by side between the 61 truck and the 15 of Michael Madden and Matt Johnson. Matt Johnson really going to send it in there into 3 and really clear the 15. So Matt Johnson taking over P2, and he's looking to take over this lead, Dean.
Yeah, Jake, I tell you, he is doing some awesome things down there on the bottom, and whether it be tire management or whatever it may be, he is just moving towards the front of this field. And like you said, Cole Martin loved seeing these guys too wide behind him, but right now he has a mirror full of that 61 of Matt Johnson. He's going to peek to the inside, try to put a slider on him as we head for turn 3.
Oh, yeah, Matt Johnson really going to dive it into 3 again. He's got to be careful, though. He can't, wash up as much as he did when he cleared Michael Madden, because Cole Martin's still going to be there on the outside. And this is what we saw with Cole and Michael. Michael was there, but Cole's just able to really rip the top and get a better run off the corner exit and bring him down these straightaways and clear himself, down into the following corner. And that's what we see here is, Cole Martin, again, clears by a truck or two back to Matt Johnson.
Big move by Matt Johnson right there, Jake, and he needs to cool those tires off a little bit. He's been running that inside lane, that shorter way around, trying to put a little more steering wheel into it. And I think right now, if I was Matt Johnson, you definitely want to lead this race. You want to be out of front as quick as you can. But if I were him, I would do just what he's doing, kind of running up by the wall, letting Cole Martin run whatever line he wants to, and just cool these tires down to try to go make another run at it. But at the same time, Jake, it's kind of hard to do when the guys behind you are charging you, like Michael Madden is coming quick to that back bumper.
Oh, it definitely is a big move there by that 20 truck of Brandon Domain, trying to take over P3. It's the kind of run Brandon needs. We saw him lower down in the standings for the playoffs after a not so well run for him at Talladega. So he's trying to get as many points as possible to make it a little bit easier on himself as we head into Dover for the final race of round 1 for the playoffs, as well as there's a lot of drivers out here that are in the playoffs that need that kind of run tonight. And man, I tell you what, this is the kind of racing I expected to see here. Is green flag racing, once these restarts settle down and, we were able to get going. You see there, the 87 of Andrew Harris is battling for 5th place right now with the 4 trucker, Brandon Domain.
Yeah, Jake, I mean, what a charge back through the field for Andrew Harris. I mean, you take a look, it was just 30 laps ago. He was sitting in the very back of the field after that lap 1 spin, and here he is back into the top 5. He just took that spot away from Jose Castellanos, who at the time when he was sitting in 5th, you had 2 Striker Motorsports trucks, Brandon Domain in 3rd and Jose Castellanos now back in 6th. So, Jake,
yellow flag comes out. The 86 of Brian Crocker turned around in middle of 1 and 2, I believe that's where that's at. It is, but I was going to say, Dean, the there were 3 Bronco trucks right there in the top 7, so they're having a good run, obviously leading this thing. And have 2 other trucks besides Cole in the top 10, early on in this thing. Pretty impressive to see.
Yeah, Jake, let's take a look here at the Sandwich Man Racing Sports Memorabilia Rec Replay. See what happened here to that 86 truck of Brian Crocker. Looks like he and Walt Lipicki just go into the corner there side by side and just kind of touch doors together, and around goes the 86. That couldn't be too much more simple if I wanted to explain it, Jake.
Yeah, it looks like, again, just you see there were a ton of room between them. Then once they get into one, and it all shortens up, and next thing you know, the 86 is around. And Brian Crocker into the outside wall. I think it's just, again, Dean, 2 guys trying to go for the same spot here as they head into one.
Yeah, Jake, and I tell you, with 30 laps down here, I'm not going to be surprised to see these guys come down to pit road here. Cole Martin's getting to the entrance of pits, it looks like now. Yep, he's going to duck down and bring the entire field behind him. It is about to get busy on pit road.
It definitely is, but I tell you what, I don't know if you saw that, but Cole Martin did a heck of a job getting onto pit lane. He gave himself some room to the pace car, and then was able to speed up to the cone and get down to pace speed. And he's got a pretty sizable gap behind him to Matt Johnson. So I got to imagine Cole Martin's going to come back out of this thing with the lead from the guys that have come down pit lane.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm excited to see here, Jake. I want to see what happens with Andrew Harris here. You see him in that pit stall number 1. I want to see what happens on this restart with him, because we saw at the start of the race when tire pressures were low.
Corey Sauce here missed his box.
Yeah, we saw when tire pressures were a little low there, Jake. He had a little bit of a trouble, got a little loose there. But like you said, Cole Martin going to easily win that race off pit road. And if I look correctly, Jake, it looked like Brandon Domain came off in second.
Yeah, Brandon Domain came off P2 out of pit lane, so excellent job getting in and out of his box for that 20 truck for Stryker Motorsports. But, Dean, we got a guy up here leading right now, the 75 of James Kerr. Looks like he's staying out, and he's going to be the leader unless he comes down pit lane right here and gets service on this truck. Not too sure, maybe a little strategy pull. You never know. I mean, we could see, him stay out, and it kind of, throws a wrench in the whole plan for all these leaders that just came down pit lane.
Yeah, Jake, still no pit this time by, and that's going to make it very, very interesting. Don't get me wrong, James Kerr will have lane choice, but we've seen the inside lane be the more dominant one. This is going to stick Cole Martin to the outside for the first time this evening, Jake, and I don't know, man. That's going to be real interesting, because if James can get going, I don't think he's going to have the corner speed to really do anything with these guys, but I think he'll at least be able to get through turns 1 and 2 at a decent rate of speed. So if you're Brandon Domain there in third, I think you have got to be ready. You've got to have the chamber loaded, ready to fire on this restart to be able to go through, get to the inside of James Kerr, and be able to try and take him 3 wide into turn 1 from this lead. I think that is your best shot right now, is the 20.
Oh, absolutely. I 100% agree with you. And if you're Cole, you got to be aware that the guy leading the race is on older tires, and third place might make it 3 wide into 1. So you don't want to crowd the 75, because if he has to move up to give room to that inside driver, the 20 truck, Cole can't be there on his door, because then those 2 are going to make contact. And it could send either one of them around or both of them around. So Cole's just got to be patient, I think, here through 1 and 2. If he stays to the outside, just make sure you give him enough room. Obviously, you could be going 3 wide into 1, but at the same time, the 75 truck might get a little bit tight on these older tires on this restart when they go into 1. You never know. The 75 could also clip this apron in 1, Dean, and it's just something we're gonna have to watch here. It's gonna be, and again, if you're these leaders up front, maybe you see how well the 75 does on older tires if there's a late race yellow and you're further back in the pack if you're one of these playoff drivers.
Yeah, Jake, here's my thing. I think James Kerr is on borrowed time right now, leading this race. I just don't see any way that he's not that he's not 10th or further back after about 1 or 2 laps on these fresh tires. But like you said, it very well could surprise me here. And Cole Martin's going to be right there to his outside, and he'll run him nice and tight there, Jake. He's going to try to get as short of a run as what he can, because he knows that inside lane, right behind Brandon Domain is actually Michael Madden. So, the thing is if that 15 truck gets a good enough of a restart here, Jake, we could potentially see 2, 3, 4 plus wide down into turn number 1. It's big enough for it here at Kansas.
Oh, it definitely is. And with these trucks, they're very stable. So it definitely can happen. And you look in the third third row of the outside lane. That's Andrew Harris, who's come back through the field. He's going to be 6th place on this restart. So another truck to watch to be making moves. This is going to be awesome to watch here, Dean.
This is going to be fun, Jake. Pace truck is off. The field is in the hands of James Kerr. He's going to lead him down here. Field kind of bunches up. Bad restart there for Brandon Domain, but James Kerr gets right out in front. Cole Martin's going to drop down right behind him, and they're going to head for turn number 1.
Yeah, and the 15 of Michael Mann looks like he might have missed a shift. A big gap to, lets the truck get in between him, but James Kerr is going to go up the track, and I think he's just going to let these leaders go by. He gets out of the way, and that's going to give Cole Martin the lead again as we go down the backstretch into 3, Dean. Here at Kansas Speedway, Cole Martin going to get back out front where he's been all night long so far.
I tell you, look, Jake, that 75 up high. I mean, he's not slouching right now. He definitely doesn't have quite the same speed.
Michael Mann around down the front. We're going to have another yellow. The 15 truck.
Oh, big wreck, Jake, big wreck. Oh, the 15 gets plowed into the side of there.
Wow, another playoff driver, Dean. That's what we've seen all race long so far. These accidents have involved a lot of our playoff drivers, and it looks like his engine is smoking, so you got to make sure it doesn't blow up and you are able to make it to pit lane so you don't have to tow.
Well, Jake, that is definitely going to be one for the Sandwich Man Racing Sports Memorabilia Rec Replay here. All I looked down and saw was Michael Madden spinning, and I saw another truck hit him. Let's see what happens here.
That's Vincent Cortez right behind him in the 69. Gets to the inside of the 15. And then looks like the 69. Try to get back in line behind the 15 and kind of misjudged the spacing there. And unfortunately for Michael Madden, I believe that's the 85 of Brian Crocker. That red truck gets into Madden as well. And both those trucks blowing up, it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like here, Jake, that they go to run down here down the front straightaway, and I think Michael was expecting Vincent to be a little bit lower on the track than what he was. Vincent just gets on that white line, and it just tightens the truck up, turns him around, and got a bunch of guys
Nixon,
back there.
His teammate from Michael running into him.
Yeah, I mean, just nowhere you can go there in a definite unfortunate situation, Jake. I mean, just look how violently this car turns to the right here. I mean, he's going to move up. And right here, a good move by Mike Madden. I mean, he was going to try to go down there. It looked like that Matt Johnson didn't get the best of runs off the corner, and it looks like in order to try to get past Vincent Cortez, he was going to kind of use Matt Johnson as a pick, and Cortez he didn't drop all the way down to the grass, and he doesn't have to, Jake. I mean, he's not forced to do anything of that sorts, but it just, in the process, it gets him, I don't know if it got him loose, tight, whatever, but the nose of that truck moves straight into the left rear of Michael Madden. Around he goes, and big carnage on the front straightaway here at Kansas.
Yeah, you can see it right here from the point of view of Michael's brother Cody Madden in the 17 as he's trying to check up, and there's just trucks everywhere, all so close to hitting the rear end of his brother right there. Heck of a job by Cody getting on the brakes to avoid the 15 truck there.
Yeah, Jake, I tell you, one driver who's been who's seen just about every wreck that there was to have this evening was our driver in the 92, Robbie Yost. He has seen about a little bit of everything this evening, and in doing so, he started dead last on the field, Jake, back in 33rd. He's up to 23rd right now, so quite a bit of progress from that 92, and if he just continues to miss these wrecks, Jake, he may have himself a pretty good points night.
Absolutely, and you keep, and you think about the fact that, all these yellows, we've seen at least one playoff driver involved, except for the one yellow of Brian Crocker and Walt Lipicki. But, if you're these playoff drivers, you got to watch out for that. This is what can ruin, a great season, is getting in accidents in, these races. And there's only 3 races per round, so you got to be mindful of that and put yourself in, your situations that you kind of avoid these accidents and things like that. It's a little early to be trying to be super aggressive for these spots. Not saying anyone did anything wrong, but when push comes to shove at Dover and you don't make the next cut, you start to think about things like that, Dean.
Oh yeah, for sure, Jake. And when you go through, I look at someone like Bobby Anderson who made the playoffs by 1 point. You don't want to be that guy that misses the next round by a single point. That guy that goes, man, should I have lifted at this part of the race to keep from shooting myself in the foot later in the race? But right now, I think these guys, the different type of racetracks we've been to over the last month and a half, 2 months, Jake, we really haven't seen these 1.5 mile type ovals. So I think for some of these guys, it's a little bit of a relearning process, so to speak, on how to go out here, run these races again. And, for some guys, like you said, Michael Madden, who we saw running very, very well earlier before that wreck, Cole Martin, you got a lot of these guys who, hey, they're good at this type of track. But some of these guys, they've just got to kind of get those nerves under control, go out here and log these laps.
Oh, absolutely. And, it's something to always think about, what you're doing coming into it, if you're preparing enough, things like that. Because you just never know what the race is going to throw at you. And that's something, you really can't practice for, but you just got to, it's that situational awareness, in the race, especially if you're, running for points, whether it's, the actual championship or even if you're one of those second tier, playoff drivers, it's just a lot to process. And that's where I think if you've got, a spotter or, other guys on, an Xfinity or a Cup team that are willing to come out here and help you out, it kind of just cools your nerves during out the whole race, Dean. I know you and I have that up in the Cup series. So, it's just, an added benefit, I guess you could call it, of just having, that type of information being fed to you throughout the whole race.
Yeah, information is key when it comes to these races, and these guys have a chance all week, Jake, to practice, to come out here, log laps at this track. But one of the big things, it's kind of the, I guess you'll call it the Pandora's box, so to speak. They know what trucks they're running. They know the setups. They know everything here. They just don't know what the weather's going to hold for them. So you can log laps all week long, and it may not mean a thing as race day gets here. But up front, Jake, we've got Cole Martin going to lead us back to green here. Good restart here by the 85. He's going to drop all the way down to get that shortest distance around here at Kansas Speedway.
Yeah, he is. And Cole Martin has been on point on these restarts. He gets out, almost half a second lead on these guys through 1 and 2, and that's just when the draft and down the backstretch kind of pulls these, drivers behind him back up to him. But then, Cole's been under fire from a lot of guys, and he's just not letting it get to him as he's, stayed cool or under the helmet, and he's prevailed by every attack from any driver that's come up to him to try to take this lead away from him. But now he's got his teammate in P2, so it makes you wonder how aggressive these two are going to race, or if they're just kind of try to work together to, almost make it like a plate race to kind of just drive away from the field. That's kind of, you are able to do that in the trucks if you're, pushing one another down the straightaway, giving each other enough room into the corners. It really does benefit.
Yeah, Jake, and right now I'll tell you, if I'm Cole Martin, I'm a little bit panicked seeing Andrew Harris behind me. This is a guy who wound up winning the pole, spun out all on his lonesome lap number 1, and now he's sitting here not even halfway through this race right on your back bumper. If I was that 85 driver, I haven't had much to fear this season. I'd be a little worried right now.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd be worried because it's your teammate. Obviously, at the end of the day, yeah, is winning awesome, but, it's kind of that mentality of I just got to get myself to the next round. Let's not wreck one another, cause each other any sort of damage that would make us, lose these first and second spots. But, again, Corey Saucier in that 3 truck who was involved in that same accident with Andrew, he's worked his way up back to 8th place now. So, he's methodically working his way back up front. And Andrew Harris now going to go to the inside of Cole Martin. So these 2 drivers from Bronco Motorsports running 1-2 side by side off of turn 2. But I tell you what, these 2 guys being side by side is just going to open the door for Vincent Cortez to possibly make it 3 wide if they stay too wide for too long.
Yeah, Jake. Andrew Harris just with a ton of speed going to get moved up here in front of his teammate Cole Martin and now drop back down to the inside of the track. And now if you're Cole, you got to sit there. You got to kind of say, okay, hey, my teammate's in the lead. I've had great points races all season.
Vincent Cortez apron washes up, and then he blinks.
Oh, man.
4th place, Cody Riggs.
What a big moment for Cody Riggs there, Jake. That had to look terrifying out his windshield, as it's going to allow Matt Johnson to get to his inside, and he's going to get to the left rear of Vincent Cortez. I thought Vincent...
Matt Johnson going to get it to the inside, too, here. We're going to have a 3-truck battle for 3rd place.
Yeah, Jake, this is definitely getting to the point of this race where I'm just kind of wondering what's going to happen here. Oh, man.
As this is... see Matt Johnson working that inside right along the white line. It's really working well for him, as these 2 are going to get real close off corner exit. But I think that outside line is going to prevail. But then you'll see Matt Johnson really rocket through the entrance of this corner on the inside, try to self-clear, but he's not going to get there. Vincent's hanging tough on the outside, man. That's just the beauty of multi-groove racing.
Yeah, multi-groove racing, definitely a blast here, Jake. And, it's so nice because for so long on iRacing, we had to fight the problem of racetracks were one groove type of facilities. A lot of these places, everybody fought for the same position. And if you tried to do anything a little bit different, you were going to get shuffled back. But iRacing has definitely done their work here, definitely done their research, allowed these guys to run 2 and 3 wide. And right now with the trucks, you see it here. You see Matt Johnson down on the low line trying to make it work, but that high line just carries a little bit more speed at this point. Like I said, you've gone almost 20 laps since the last set of tires, Jake. So tire wear's starting to become a bit of a factor.
Oh, it definitely is. And, it makes you wonder how long they can go on fuel. I mean, we've got 38 laps to go, but I can't believe they'd be able to make it on fuel for these guys that have not, been pitting like maybe some of these guys in the back of the pack. So our leaders, I feel like, are going to have to pit. If knock on wood, Dean, this thing stays green, it's going to just throw another variable into the equation for these drivers.
And with it, you don't want to be the first guy to come down and pit, Jake. It can work out if you are, but you don't want to be the last guy to come down 99% of the time. There's a perfect sweet spot here, and I mean, as we go from first up here at Andrew Harris all the way back to Rob Yost, our last car on the lead lap, I mean, you're dealing with about a 7-second difference. Now, at this point of the race, as I go through to look at lap times just since our last pit stop, Jake, these lap times have fallen off quite a bit, close to a second here. So it's going to be real interesting here to see as we continue to work these green flag laps. Who comes first? Do they take tires? Do they just take fuel? I mean, there's just a plethora of strategy to be worked here this evening.
Oh, I totally agree with you, Dean. And, you see this battle for second. Cole Martin was running the outside, and Matt Johnson was running the inside line. And now Matt's moved up, realizing, the run on the high side is just where you want to be. And, they dive into one, and Cole's going to go to the bottom, but he's got to be careful because I think Matt's really going to get the run off, and it's going to Cole Martin closing the door on the 61 of Matt Johnson. That's just how it is here at Kansas, man. You get the run, you got to block the other guy to got that run off, Dean, but, you got to be careful with it. Some guys, they don't like it or things like that. They don't want to be raced like that, so you got to be ever so careful. Obviously, especially for one of these top playoff drivers.
Yeah, Jake, and the thing is with it here, you're going to know real quick if someone didn't like the move that you put on them based off of how much bumper you have located in your bumper. And right now, Matt Johnson, he's made several charges towards the front here, kind of trapped behind this Bronco duo. So we're going to see how that how that truck's able to go through, rotate, how it plays out here towards the end. But Jake, like I said, right now, I mean, you've got this top group of guys here. I mean, the top 4 is within a second of one another. I mean, that's just unheard of for a 1.5 mile track.
Yeah, and I got to imagine it's just going to be a 3 group. They seem to be pulling away from Vincent Cortez, so it's going to be these 3 drivers right here, the 87, the 85, and the 61. They're kind of broken away, and they're really just making this racetrack work up high, and they're pulling away. But I can tell you right now, Dean, I got a report down on pit lane. The 85 truck has only got 20 laps of fuel left, so these guys are definitely going to have to pit, whether it stays green all the way to the finish or if we do see another yellow flag. So, this is what I, really enjoy is, watching these races, not being in them, and watching the pit strategy play out. Because like you said, Dean, I hate being the first guy. I'm never a fan of that because you as well as I know, if you're the first one down, man, and you see that yellow flag and you're a lap down, I mean, it stings. It really does.
Yeah, and I've unfortunately been that guy in way too many situations there, Jake. So, it's all a strategy right now. It's going to be all a big game as to who's able to go through, make what moves where. If I'm Matt Johnson right now, I want to get past this 85 truck as quick as I can. But at the same time, Jake, I mean, everyone, you know that the inside lane's pretty much gone at this run of the tires. So you just got to kind of do what you can here. Try and battle out Cole Martin. And Jake, like you said, Matt Johnson, if he can't pass him right here, he may want to.
We got one through the grass on the front stretch.
That is Taylor Smith in the 24. Good save there, Jake.
Yeah, good save, says the field. Taylor Smith able to collect the truck and get it going. We're going to stay under green. So that's the 24, Taylor Smith from Team SRN. Don't know, maybe he got into the wall off of 4 and sent him into the grass. Maybe he got a little bit loose too. You never know. But we keep green flag racing out here at the Buschy McBuschy Lite 130. It never gets old saying that name.
No, not at all, Jake. I mean, definitely a fun name for a race, and it's going to be a fun one trying to say that as many times as we can in one broadcast.
It really is, and you know, someone that kind of surprised to see, you know, back in the pack skills, that 15 truck, Michael Madden was able to get that faster pair and stay on the lead lap. But Dean, I mean, he's only in 17th place right now.
Yeah, Jake, I mean, you know, just trying to fight, do whatever he can to move back up through the field. You know, we had mentioned that track position is huge here at this race. I mean, it is as big as anything possibly could be. And with any type of track position like that, when the cautions come out, once again, you don't want to be that guy who's on the off strategy, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Oh, no, you aren't wrong. And, you know, with these two guys up front, you know, we see this battle here for 4th and 5th spot between Vincent Cortez and Brandon Domain, making the inside wall, or inside lane still working, though, but I don't think he's going to clear him off of 4. Looks like Matt Johnson got into the wall, Dean, because he is way off the pace right now and not right behind Cole Martin anymore.
Well, Jake, if that's the case here, man, you're coming down to about 25 laps to go. It might be worth it to go ahead and hit pit road, be that first guy to come get those tires. If your truck has been damaged pretty severely, maybe time for a fast repair, get reloaded. And, you know, if the other guys stay out a little longer, Jake, that...
Oh, and our turn leader's in the wall, and Cole Martin ran into the back of him. Andrew Harris got into the outside fence. Cole Martin had nowhere to go as he was running the outside lane right behind him. The two Bronco Motorsports trucks, not what you want to see. Oh, man, and he's again in the outside wall into 1. It happened in the middle of 3 and 4. Oh, yeah, we're going to see this replay, Dean. That is not what you want to have happen when your teammates...
No, Andrew Harris just got up there riding that wall, Jake, and just may have gotten into some of the marbles, pulled him into the wall a little bit, and fortunately, Cole Martin was running just enough behind him to not send him around. But for Andrew Harris and Cole Martin, you just let the field kind of pull back up to you a little bit. You know there's a little bit of damage on those trucks now. So, Jake, now I think if you're the rest of the field, you're salivating. You're saying, all right, it's almost time to go here on tires and fuel. And I think pit road's getting ready to get super busy here, but this time under green. Yeah,
you got to pounce on these leaders. You know, you saw what happened there with them getting into the fence. But I mean, right now they're holding tough. The 90 truck though, Corey Knight running a great looking paint scheme, kind of, you know, a little Jamaican vibe there with the black, yellow, and green, and that's a good looking truck right there for Corey Knight.
Yeah, Jake, I have always been a fan of like paint splatter paint schemes, and that one definitely has a good looking one going for it right now. But another good looking paint scheme right up front, Cole Martin in that 85.
Yeah, he's got a good looking truck. It's kind of like a little bit Miami Vice with that teal seafoam green. But I hear over the race chat, Dean, we're going to have guys starting to come down pit lane. So if you're these leaders, you got to be aware of where those guys are that are pitting. We see Corey Saucier coming down pit lane. He was P9, so
And these guys, Jake, they have got to be super duper careful here. You cannot afford to speed on pit road. They cannot afford it at this point.
No, they really can't. And, you know, if you're these leaders, you know, you see these guys pitting behind you, but like you were saying, Dean, the pace really falls off. Cole's still got 6 more laps, and I think that will just really pay dividends if you stay out a little bit longer than these guys, because then at the end of the run, you're going to be a lot faster than them. And you know, these guys that are pitting were, you know, seconds behind the leaders, so you got a bit of a buffer.
Yeah, but that buffer disappears in a quick hurry, Jake. And yeah, like we said, you know, these tires will they'll kind of go through. They'll run pretty fast in terms of wear. But at the same time, you have to make sure with whatever you lose on pit road here that you're going to be able to...
Oh, Matt Johnson goes around, blocks it.
He's got to get that truck moving, Jake. I think he's too close to the inside wall.
He's got to back it up. he's got to be careful, too, of the guys coming down pit lane. Man, if that 61 truck's losing a lot of time there, I know he's being gingerly with it, trying to respect everyone behind him, but, man, you got to grab a gear and disappear because you can't lose any more time. It looks like our leaders are going to be coming down pit lane right now. Cole Martin in the 85 and his teammate right behind him, Andrew Harris. Make sure you get down to pit lane speed. 87 is really... Oh, I thought they were going to get into each other again, Dean.
Oh, they came close, Jake, and that allows their teammate in the 81, Michael York, to go through the lead a lap that time by, and he's going to drive away here. It should be pitting very, very soon, but Jake, that's just the thing, this pit strategy. I mean, I can tell you from last season with Mid-South Madness, this was a race that was definitely not in the best of health by any means, and I missed pit road a time or two, so it's easy to do, but right there with Matt Johnson, that's one of those mistakes you just cannot have this late in the race.
No, you can't. That's really going to kill him unless there's another yellow flag that, closes up the gap with everybody, because that's really, really going to ruin his race. There's a thing about it. If that happened under yellow, you don't lose that much time because everyone's right there. But seconds are huge when it's green flag racing because it's just a lot of time to be able to catch up to these guys. And Cole Martin, man, we saw the 3 truck pit before him, and Corey Saucier is ahead of Cole Martin by about a second in front of him. So, if this cycles through, Corey's going to be the leader right now, in front of Cole Martin. And we'll see if these, couple lap newer tires for Cole, pay off and he's able to run them down.
Yeah, Jake, we had chronicled all night Andrew Harris, his drive through the field, but you remember that lap 1 incident, it was Corey Saucier that he had washed up into, so like you said, it's going to be interesting to see what this 3 truck can do, and right now, Jake, I just don't have the time down on the track, the gap, just because they're still trying to race back to be on the lead lap, but like you said, a second could be a lot to try to gain here at Kansas, and I know Cole just wound up clearing, it looked like Jonathan Byer, but with 18 laps to go, it is all gas at this point, buddy.
Yeah, you got to go, man. If you're Cole, you've been leading this thing up front. You've got, quite a sizable lead to your teammate behind you, so you don't have to worry about anything out back. You just got to pay attention to what's out in front of you, and that's going to be that 3 truck of Corey Saucier. They're scored 3rd and 4th right now, but that's because the 81 of Michael York and Vincent Cortez have not come down pit lane yet. So, this is. It'll be interesting to see how the pit strategy pays off for these guys.
Yeah, Jake, gap looks like it's been pretty well balanced there. I mean, 1 lap it'll look like Corey will run maybe a half of a tenth faster. The next lap, Cole runs about a half of a tenth faster. And, with 17 laps to go, if you're Cole Martin, I mean, you're to the point where you got to start chopping away tenths, not half tenths. So you see that gap kind of go from 1.4 to, we'll see what it is this time by the line. Let's just look here. Yeah, he gained a little bit on him there, Jake. Looks to be not quite a tenth, maybe about 3/4 of a tenth there. But Corey Saucier, that is not what Corey needs. He needs to clear that truck and go, Jake. He just lost a lot of time off the nose of the 10. I think he was expecting him to go a little higher than what he did for sure.
Yeah, and that's the thing of being the leader, man. You just don't know where these guys are going to go in front of you. And like we saw there, it'll be interesting to see the time difference, lap time-wise, and what that's done for Cole trying to run down the 3. Cole ran a 31.541 that last time by, and Corey Saucier running a 31.881, so that's 3/10 right there. So, I mean, if you're the 3 truck, man, you got to get by or get through this lap traffic. You got Mike Lewis, the next truck in front of you, so you hope you can get by him, pretty cleanly and just set your sights out front, because I think that 85 truck's going to be closing that gap. But, Corey is a really, really good driver on these 1.5 miles in his own. So, even though Cole might catch him, Dean, it's one thing to run the guy down, but you got to get around him too.
Yeah, Jake, I couldn't tell that last time through 3 and 4. It looked like Cole Martin had a little bit of a moment. I can't tell if the truck had shot up the track or if he was just kind of searching for grip a little bit, but just looked like he went way up to the wall, a lot higher than what you see Corey Saucier running right now. And that may be just to try and get a little bit out of that draft wake that Walt Lipicki's making in front of him. But I tell you, Jake, right now it looks like this lead is pretty consistent. I mean, not enough coming out of it to where I think Cole Martin can catch him if this thing stays green at this pace. Yeah,
but he's got 2 trucks in front of him now, more lap traffic. It's really going to hurt him off the exit. He's not going to be able to wash up to the wall, as you see there. The 5 truck kind of running a little bit in the middle of the backstretch, and that's just going to hurt Corey as they head into 3. And again, on the inside line, that's going to be the 90 truck of Corey Knight in front of our leader, Corey Saucier, who's going to have to check up even more again, man. Oh, man. Mike Lewis in the wall. Cole Martin's got to pounce now. He's got to get clear of this 5 and make a choice of line to make sure he doesn't get stuck behind these 2 other lappers in front of him that are going to be too wide when they come off this corner. So yeah, Cole's got to be smart here. Got to be smart.
Well, Jake, the problem that Cole's going to have right here, he's going to be almost 3 wide going down in here into this corner, and what was a blessing to him the lap before, kind of a curse this time by, is he's going to have to work under Walt Lipicki, not be able to take quite the same angle he wants to, and Walt's going to battle back on the outside a little bit here, Jake. He's not just going to roll over for him.
Yeah, and that is kind of on the yellow flag.
Caution, Jake. Caution, Jake. Oh, buddy. Oh, Mike Lewis and Corey Knight. Oh, man, we just saw those guys right there, Jake, with the leaders kind of be in that lap traffic. So, man, we get to throw that going to the green to the end talk out the window here, buddy. Let's take a look at the Sandwich Man Racing Sports Memorabilia Rec Replay and see what happened here between the 5 and the 90.
Yeah, it's going to be 2 lap trucks getting into one another. If it was the 5 and the 90 truck here, it's going to happen off of 4. Not too sure. Corey kind of comes down, and Mike's not running, the apron. Oh, man, Andrew Harris. That's the 87 there. Wow. Oh, man, another playoff driver involved in another accident. You're going to see it here. These 2 get it, make the contact, come into the start-finish line right here. They come up into the outside wall, and then down the track the 90 goes, and Andrew Harris with a hard hit on the 90 truck on his right side door. You just hope if you're the 87, you're able to make it down pit lane. You got another fast repair because you're going to hold your position, but you got to make sure the thing doesn't blow up so you can make it down to pit lane. We're going to see our leaders come down pit lane, Dean.
Yeah, Jake, they're going to come down to pit one more time here, and I would not be surprised to see a 2-tire strategy play in for one of these drivers right now. But just like you mentioned, Andrew Harris, lap 1, had that spin. The big question, and you remember right before green flag pit stops, he had gotten into the wall, and I'm certain he had taken a fast repair there. So I wonder if he still got one left over, or if he wound up using that one at the beginning of the race. But Jake, Corey Saucier is going to hit his pit box. He's not going to slide through this time and come to the service of his crew. Right sides go up on the number 3 truck. Looks like they're going around.
We'll see. I can't imagine anyone taking 2 tires. I don't know.
Left sides are down. Corey Saucier is away. And Jake, I'm telling you,
it's going to be a drag race.
I think he got Cole off of pit road.
But Matt Johnson, I don't know if he was a lap down trying to get the wave round. It's shown he's the first car behind the pace car on the lead lap, but I'm not sure how it all cycled through with his spin on the pit lane under green flag pit stops. We'll see here, though, if he comes down pit lane or if he'll be the wave round, Dean. I'm not sure how this is going to cycle through.
I don't know, Jake. I'm looking here on scoring and timing, and looks like that Matt Johnson is your P1 driver at this point in time.
Yeah, it looks like the 61 of Matt Johnson did not pit then, unless we see him pull down right here into pit lane. But it doesn't look like he is. So the 61 of Matt Johnson, and that's what we were saying, Dean. You can get yourself bailed out with a yellow flag, and that's what we're going to see here for Matt Johnson. But I mean, we saw it with the 75 of James Kerr earlier. You could hang with it for about a lap, and then I think those fresher tires, Dean, they just prevail for these drivers that came down pit lane.
Yeah, and Jake, I mean, here's going to be my thing, man. I mean, I wonder, what did Matt Johnson save that last run? When he got back out on track, did he give it all the gas that he could, or did he kind of float around there for a moment just like this? I mean, it wasn't that long ago that they had pitted. He did a great job keeping that truck on the lead lap. So it's going to be interesting to see here. I mean, just the lanes on this restart, I think, is what's going to make it so interesting. As I go through, kind of look at it here, Cole Martin's going to have the inside. Now, keep in mind, Matt Johnson can pick the outside lane if he wants to, but Cole's going to have an inside lane here, and we've seen how good he can be on these restarts. So if you're these guys with fresh tires, you saw this situation earlier in the race with the 75 of James Kerr, mind you, on a lot more worn tires, but you're definitely flipping through that notebook saying, hey, how did we get around him at the start of the race?
Right, and I mean, Matt Johnson's been fast. I mean, he was up front. Obviously, James Kerr is a really good driver in his own, but Matt Johnson was up front all days. So you never know. That could be a little different too. A driver that's up front, staying out on older tires, could be a little bit harder for these guys to get around them. And he's obviously, it's not like he's starting second or third. He's going to be in control of this restart, so he's going to get a bit of a jump on these other guys, Dean. I just wonder how it's going to pay off, for him. With about 7 laps to go, I believe it's going to be, or 6 laps to go when we get the green flag. It's not like it's going to be a 2 or 3 lap shootout. But hey, anything's possible, right, Dean Brummett?
Oh, absolutely, Jake. I am looking right now at the second row on the outside and Brandon Domain. I think that's going to be your wild card guy right there. I mean, he's kind of stuck around this top 4 or 5 all race long. And this has been his first real good chance up front. We saw him on the inside earlier on that restart with James Kerr. Did not get a very good restart at all. So I'm interested to see if he can get a better restart this time. And if he does not, do you see Michael York go to the outside? Do you see the field stack up behind him? I think that 20 is our wild card right now.
Yeah, not a bad pick right there for this restart. He's going to have Corey on fresh tires in front of him, so he doesn't have to worry about someone being slower on the inside in front of him or spinning the wheels. But Matt Johnson gets a good restart. Cole Martin already to the inside. And the wrecking, though, in the back of the pack, Dean, we're under yellow already. A big wreck before we even got going.
Oh, Andrew Harris
again. Oh, man, not what you want to see.
Jake, that's the accordion I just mentioned there. I don't think it started up near the front like you so often see it do. But back towards the pack, we've got drivers around again for another Sandwich Man Racing Sports and Memorabilia Rec replay. And Jake, I tell you here, I don't know if this is going to take us to a green-white checker, but it's going to be close.
Yeah, it's going to help out Matt Johnson. It's going to be fewer laps. And here we go. We'll see what happened here. They kind of are trying to time it when the leader goes, and not too sure where it happened.
Rear wheel spin.
50. Oh, the 91. The Kyle Wimble, the 91 machine of Jonathan Byer Racing. Just kind of looped it on the inside all by himself. No help from behind or anything like that. And that's where you see the 87 of Andrew Harris around at the start-finish line. Don't know what happened there.
Yeah, Travis Trevelyan got into it there, Jake. Looked like Bobby Anderson.
Hard hit.
Yeah, it looked like Bobby Anderson spun the tires on the restart as well, but didn't quite stack up the outside lane as bad as what it could have.
Oh, man. You see Harris trying to go the outside to get a run because the yellow I don't think was out yet. Oh, man. He's got a little bit of rear damage, though. Don't know if he's got any fast repairs to come down and, get a clean truck for this last run. If you do, I think you got to do it. As we see him coming down pit lane, that's the 91 and Kyle Wimble behind him. That's 2 playoff drivers, Dean. I mean, every single yellow, it seems that there's been a playoff driver involved.
Yeah, Jake, this is just this is not the one that you wanted to see if you're a playoff driver. And man, I tell you, if I'm up front, the only real driver who hasn't had any playoff misfortune this race has been Cole Martin. The closest thing to it that he's had was that little bit of run in the middle of 3 and 4 with his teammate. So if the playoff reaper is lurking, there's only one person left on this track that he could possibly be coming for. And if I'm Cole Martin, man, I know I've got to run these laps out, but it is a scary place right now. If my spotter starts listing off to me all the playoff drivers who've been in it.
Oh yeah, and you don't want to be added to that list, right? So, it's kind of almost one of those things, Do I go for the win or do I play it cautious here? Because you don't want to have another bad race like we saw Corey and Cole have at Talladega, and then make it even tougher for you at Dover. So you got to be careful with this. You don't want to get yourself caught up, in something that, you could have avoided by just saying, all right, it's not going to happen today for the win. I'll take P2 or P3 and move on to Dover feeling comfortable and, having a cushion to that cutoff line, because the worst thing you want to do is go into Dover of all places and only be a couple points, above that cut. And I mean, Dover, man, that's just, the whole field could be taken out, in the blink of an eye there with how treacherous that is out of turn 2 and turn 4, and it's going to be awesome to watch. In all 3 series, that cut race at Dover.
I think, Jake, kind of looking ahead to Dover next week, between the Truck Series, the Xfinity Series, and the Cup Series, my bold prediction is I think you're going to have a driver in each one of these series who just solely through staying clean at Dover and just through finishing the race, not even giving the car or truck, whatever race vehicle they have, too awful much of what it can do. I think you're going to have somebody sneak into the next round of the playoffs. I think you're going to have somebody, I don't want to make any predictions on any names, but I think in each one of the top series, I think you're going to wind up seeing somebody who everybody may have expected going all the way to the championship round. I think you'll wind up seeing someone get knocked out just based off the chaos that you see at Dover.
Yeah, I got to agree with you. It's there's nothing ever perfect in the motorsports world, so what might have been, could never be. Right, and that's just that's the beauty of racing. You could have a flawless regular season, have all the great or all the good luck, everything going for you, and then playoff times come around, and you have a couple bad finishes, and you head into the final race of the cutoff, and you might not have a bad race, but it might not be good enough to get you on into the round of 10, but. Here we go, Dean. We're going to have a 2-lap shootout here for the end of this race. It's going to be a natural green-white checkered. So if we do see another yellow flag, we'll still have 3 attempts. So we might not have seen our last yellow flag, Dean, especially with how aggressive these guys in the back of the pack are going to be for these playoff drivers, trying to grab every single point they can to have. They know Dover's not going to be an easy task.
Well, Matt Johnson's got the field behind him here, Jake, looking almost like a hero right now on pit strategy if this call works. He's got to make it around here 2 more times, but the pace truck is off. Field in the hands of the driver, the number 61. The green flag comes out. He gets a good jump there, Jake. Corey Saucer going to try to get down in front of Cole Martin, not going to be able to clear him as we head for turn number 1.
And if you're Matt Johnson, that's what you want to see, these 2 guys side by side. Cole Martin's going to get the run to the inside of Corey. But Matt Johnson and the yellow flag is out again. And there we go. Big accident.
Everywhere, Jake.
Wow. 79, Jeremy Duncan from Tank Racing involved. Andrew Harris involved again, Dean.
Well, Jake, wow. I tell you what, Andrew Harris, he wants to forget this race, man. I mean, he starting P1 in this thing, and to go through and have the type of night that he has. Let's take a look at the Sandwich Man Racing Sports Memorabilia Rec Replay. See what happens. 4 wide here at the line, Jake, and that's just not going to work.
They make contact, and you see it here. They head into 1.
Still Andrew 3 Harris wide.
So it's going to just happen all in front of them.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
Jake,
I just hope Andrew's all right.
Jake, I think that, look at that. He kind of gets some gas to it, moves the truck around, but, buddy, I think that's pretty much going to be the nail in the coffin tonight for the driver 87.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? If you're Andrew, you were first place in the points, so you can afford this, so to speak, but you just can't have this happen next week. Not sure if the truck blew up, but I think he gets away from the fence. So, even if, he's not up to speed, if there's a huge wreck on the final lap, Dean, he can grab some more points, but it looks like he's actually got that truck towed into pit lane, so it looks like the night is going to be done for the 87 truck of Andrew Harris. That's never a sight you want to see from an onboard shot from the 87 truck of Andrew Harris.
What a wild ride, Jake. And I tell you, a driver that barely missed that. We saw him involved in another wreck earlier, was the 71 of Travis Trevelyan. He kind of saw it break out in front of him, moved down to the bottom of the track, got around everything, and, going to continue on with his bid for a very good finish this evening. But right now, Jake, up front, we've got Matt Johnson with the track position, and, man, I'm telling you, we have watched so many races this year with Speed Racing Network that have come down to some type of a pit strategy, whether it be staying out on fuel when everybody else pits and sneaking out a win at Homestead, or whether it be a 2-tire stop at Richmond in the Cup Series. And right now, Matt Johnson's trying to put his name into that hat of drivers who have won trying to punch his all-star ticket, as well as trying to go through and say, hey, I can win them on pit strategy too.
Absolutely. And again, Dean, you just spoke about the All-Star, so the draft order was announced at the top of the show, and I know we got some fans that might have tuned in a little late, might have missed it, but the draft order for the Speed Racing Network 2021 All-Star Draft, with the first pick is going to be Team Silver, backed by their captain, Sean Griffith, so he'll have the cream of the crop to choose from. The second selection is going to go to Team Stimba, with their captain Jason Tripp will be picking second. The third draft of the order is going to be Team Buddha. That's going to be Danny Setzer, the captain for Team Buddha. And then picking fourth, a lot of surprise. Would have thought it would have been Adam Pettit taken first, but Team Birdman's captain Adam Pettit will have the fourth overall pick for the Speed Racing Network 2021 All-Star Draft. Dean, it's I can't wait to see where everybody goes. Draft day is going to be Saturday, May 1st. The qualifying races are going to be Saturday, May 8th. The All-Star race itself will be Sunday, May 9th. All of this is going to be televised on, Speed Racing Network's YouTube page. So make sure you tune in and check it out. It's going to be a great event. I got to say, Dean, that font that's used there too. I love that. I know that's Michigan State Spartans font. So shout out to MSU, man. That's a good looking font.
Yeah, Jake, I mean, if you guys are interested out there, if you're anybody who's in the chat who, you stumbled across our broadcast the last few weeks or this evening and you're looking to get involved with a group of guys, we're coming down to the end of our season currently, and there's still room in some of these for potential drivers just as we approach the end. Next season comes up in a quick hurry here, Jake. So if you're interested in joining us here at Speed Racing Network for some of the awesome things that we do between the weekly payouts, the season payouts, the Buck Kicker Award, and every so often you may have a sponsor come on and offer something special for a race. Come on, check us out at speedracingnetwork.com.
Absolutely. Or, if you want, you can comment in the YouTube chat, and say, you're interested, and we can reach out to you that way, or anything like that. So make sure you reach out if you're interested. We got 3 series. Obviously, the Truck Series tonight. Tomorrow night's going to be the Xfinity Series, and Sunday night is our Cup Series. So we'll fit you in whichever series you qualify for with iRating, things like that. So make sure you check us out, and if you're interested, get a hold of us here at Speed Racing Network. But Dean, man, here we go. We're going to have Cole Martin on the outside now, Matt Johnson. He was able to take over second, but Matt's going to be in control this restart again on those older tires, and the 61's going to get a good jump, and Cole Martin's going to get another good restart, able to clear down in front of the 3 truck. So if this goes green, I got to imagine these guys are going to get the run to get around Matt Johnson.
Well, this is the first of 3 green-white checker attempts here, Jake. Matt Johnson going to move down to throw the block on Cole Martin. He's going to drift up just a little bit, going to try to throw the block any way he can. Cole's going to try to peek to his outside. He's got room as we head down for turn number 3.
Corey Saucer is going to go to the inside. He's going to go behind Matt. Cole Martin went to the high side. Don't know if I would have done that because the run is just so big on the inside with these fresh tires. It looks like we're going to get the white flag. Cross your fingers. But here comes Cole Martin with a huge run on the inside. They're going to be 3 wide into 1. They got to give space. Oh, a little net code.
Oh, Cole Martin gets into Matt Johnson. They go around.
Cortez side by side, though, for the lead. It's going to be a drag race down into turn 3. Vincent Cortez on the outside, Cole Martin to the inside. I think it's going to prevail on the inside for Cole Martin. But what does Vincent Cortez have on the outside? He's going to be... Oh, and he hits the apron.
Oh, and Cole touches him, too. He sends Vincent Cortez up into the wall.
He's going to win it at Kansas Speedway. Wow. 5th win on the year, Dean, I believe. He won at 3 short tracks, Atlanta, and here at Kansas Speedway. We still got carnage on the backstretch.
Wow, Jake, I'll tell you what, if anything, we have a ton to unpack every single one of these races here. This is going to be a double-decker Sandwich Man Racing Sports Memorabilia Rec replay, as we just have a absolute parking lot that forms over in the middle of turns 1 and 2.
Wow. That was...
Cole Martin and Matt Johnson, as well as Corey Saucier, got down into turn 1, Jake. 3 wide, and I couldn't
This
tell
was
if it
the
was
run right here, man. This was crazy. How big of a run the 85 truck got down the front, sweeping it down from the high side, and he gets down low underneath Matt. You know, they give each other room, and there it is, the little net code. That's the beauty of iRacing, you know, the tech with technology. And I mean, there's just trucks everywhere, Dean. Who's going to lift on the white flag trying to get through a wreck?
No, not at all. And then, you know, as we get down here for turn number 3, you had Vincent Cortez, who, with Cole Martin kind of getting slowed up just a little bit, he got a big run to his outside and looked like he was going to try to pinch him down just a little bit for turn 3. So you see him, he gets his run off of turn 2. He's got a ton of speed carrying down here, Jake, and they're going to run super close together, going to try to side draft a bit. Vincent moves down here into the corner, and when they do,
Cole gets the apron.
Cole got
the apron, yeah.
Yep, Cole got the apron, Jake, and up the track Vincent Cortez goes, and he barely nudged Michael York there for second.
Yeah, so Bronco Motorsports coming home first and third there with Michael York grabbing P3, avoiding the melee into turn 1 on that final lap. To see these two teammates burning it down for Bronco Motorsports, man. I mean, we were at Talladega last week, but I mean, it feels like we were back here again this week with that last lap wreck, the big one on the white flag, Dean. That was wild.
Yeah, Jake, and with that, I mean, we're going to have to go through here, get the unofficial results shortly, but right now you see the Bronco Motorsports team going through here, burning it down as is team tradition. But, Jake, that last lap is going to hold what I feel to be some serious playoff implications for some of those guys involved.
Oh, you aren't kidding. Playoff implications all over the place. But let's run you through the field here for the Buschy McBuschy Lite 130 for Speed Racing Network's Truck Series playoff race number 2. Second race of the first round. Your winner is going to be the 85 truck of Cole Martin from Bronco Motorsports. Vincent Cortez with 2 second place finishes in a row. Finished second last week at Talladega. Brings it home P2 tonight at Kansas. Third place going to be Michael York, the 81 truck of Bronco Motorsports. Michael Madden rebounds to 4th place for Rev Racing. Bobby Anderson in that 18 truck, man, coming home P5. That's huge for him for the playoffs. And then in 6th place, Dean, we got Cody Riggs in the 224 for Rev Racing. 7th's going to be Josh Mueller, the 26 of Tank Racing. 8th place, Jason Crackey from R&D Motorsports. Then Kyle Wimble in the 91 for Jonathan Byer Racing in 9th. And rounding out the top 10 is going to be Brandon Domain, the 20 truck for Stryker Motorsports.
Yeah, Jake, in 11th is going to be Travis Trevian. Great rebound for him this evening. 11th for Stryker Motorsports. Jack Johnson, after that last lap melee, is going to come home in 12th for JBR. Cody Madden for H2K Motorsports is going to come home in 13th. Rob Yost, after watching him, Jake, battle through this field all night long, comes home with a 14th place finish. Sean Kozier in 15th for Rev Racing. Corey Saucier in 16th for R&D Motorsports. Brian Crocker in 17th. And our co-broadcaster for Sunday night, Byron McDonald, there in 18th. Matt Johnson, after that last lap wreck, was not able to continue, so he will be credited in 19th, and Nathan Nixon will be credited for the 20th position, each 1 lap down.
Yeah. And we're going to bring up our 3rd place finisher. It's going to be Michael York in the 81 truck for Bronco Motorsports. Michael, it's Jake Roell and Dean Brummett in the SRM booth, buddy. How you feeling after coming home P3? I got to imagine going into 1 on that white flag was pretty wild with all those trucks spinning in front of you, man.
Oh man, that was absolutely crazy. I don't know exactly what happened. I think they said it was net code, the first incident, and somebody bounced off my outside door. I don't know who it was, but man, what a race. How about that, boys?
Yeah, man, that was absolutely amazing to watch this evening. Michael, you know, we saw all 3 of the Bronco trucks this evening between Andrew Harris, yourself, and Cole Martin run up to the front at some point in time, man. So, you know, I know right now the team championship just didn't, not playing out quite the way you're looking for, but plenty of wins to go with it. So, Michael, I mean, with this team effort, how's it feel, man?
Oh man, I jumped in mid-season and my mind's all on that tier 2 championship. I know we're pretty much out of it from the team perspective, but man, just trying to root on my teammates and hope we can sweep the championships in some regard. So yeah, it feels great, man. First top 3 here. I couldn't be more happy.
Well, man, it was an awesome race this evening, coming home with another podium finish. Michael, anybody that you'd like to thank before we get you back down there to the Bronco team?
Just everybody at Bronco Motorsports, Sandwich Man, Sports Memorabilia, Shoney's, just the whole group, man. It's great to be a part of the group, and looking forward to next week. Thanks, boys.
Hey, good job, Michael. Have yourself a great evening, buddy.
Thanks, you too.
And you can hear it there, Dean, from third place, Micah York. He was amped up. I mean, it shows you what it feels like to come home in a podium finish and get interviewed, on top of the fact of avoiding a crazy final lap accident. And we're going to see what Vincent Cortez, our second place finisher, has. The 69 truck at Tank Racing. Vincent, this is Jake Roell and Dean Brummett up in the Speed Racing Network booth, man. You come home second last week at Talladega. You do it again here at Kansas. I mean, I know you wanted that win, but are you happy coming home P2 again?
Oh, yeah, 100%. It's unfortunate 2 weeks in a row like that, but it's racing and stuff happens.
Well, man, I know second is definitely not the spot that anybody wants to finish in, but Vincent, some great points these last couple weeks, man. I mean, we saw you go through after the initial contact off of turn 2 to the outside of Cole Martin. Looked like you were going to have something down there for him in turn 3. What happened there?
We talked about it a little bit after the race. He just said he clipped the apron, it's the last lap, going for it, taking every inch of room you can get. Just, I don't know. It's contact.
Absolutely. It's a sour feeling. I know what you're going through. It's you would have had a run to the line and it would have been a great finish, but to be able to bring it home P2, 2 seconds in a row, you're setting yourself up for a run for that second tier playoff championship. I mean, how confident do you feel going into Dover next week?
I've never had that track before. Never raced on that, so a little nervous. I know it's a tough track. But yeah, the regular season is really tough. We had a lot of bad luck. So this, I like to call it the Scrub Cup. Going to go for the P1 of that.
I love the name of that, the Scrub Cup. That's good there. But before we let you go, Vincent, is there anyone you'd like to thank?
Oh yeah, everyone at Team Take Racing. They really help out. They're really fun to race with. Red Bull, Hooters, Common Sense, and really just everybody who's gotten me here to this point. Can't thank them enough.
Absolutely, Vincent. Well, enjoy another P2. Hopefully next week, man, you get the monkey off the back. You quit with these second place finishes, and we'll get to interview you one spot later, hopefully down in Victory Lane, Vincent. So enjoy it, and we'll talk to you later, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, Jake, you got the first 2 people there on the podium, and another one here that we're very familiar with speaking with, our winner down here in Victory Lane this evening, Cole Martin. This is Dean Brummett and Jake Roell up in the Speed Racing Network booth. How you doing this evening, buddy?
Pretty good, man. Just win a race, I guess.
Well, man, this is win number 5 for you on the season here, Cole, and we saw some last lap melee going through. Walk us through that move coming to the white flag to go through, get under Matt Johnson, and try and drive away down there off of turn 2.
Yeah, I mean, I had a huge run coming out of 4, and I mean, I wasn't gonna let off. I mean, I felt like I held my line pretty good there. I think it was a little net code there when I went back and saw it. So, I mean, I feel bad kind of, but at the same time, I mean, I kind of held my line there.
Well, man, once you made that contact there, we saw you go down the back straightaway, and Vincent Cortez was right there in the position to go through and kind of pounce on the run. And, we saw you 2 down side by side into turn 3. What was going through your mind when you saw that 69 truck to your outside off of turn 2?
Yeah, I felt like I could have blocked him there, but I didn't realize it at the moment. So got to my outside, and in turn 3, I just drove it in as hard as I could. I knew he was going to pinch me down. When I was coming out in the corner, I barely tapped the apron, and I feel the worst about that one because, I mean, same thing happened to me at Vegas, and I know how he feels that first win. So I apologize to him, but I really feel bad about that one.
Definitely, man. And like you said, happened to you earlier on the year, so you know what it feels like, being on the other end of it. And, it's a classy move there, apologizing to him, letting him know it was obviously unintentional there. But, before we let you go, Cole, and you get to celebrate your 5th win on the year here for Speed Racing Network in the Truck Series, is there anybody you'd like to thank?
Yeah, I like to thank Bronco Motorsports. I like to thank Nick. He helped spot and helped our team out tonight. Thank you, Jake, for helping me a little bit earlier today with some lines and stuff. And I'd like to thank Sandwich Man, Racing Sports Memorabilia. Go check them out, and Shoney's also.
Well, there you have it, guys. Cole Martin, our winner here tonight from Kansas Speedway in the Buschy McBuschy Lite 130. Congrats again, Cole. Have a good night.
Thanks, guys.
Jake, what a white flag, buddy. We got to see us a great one last week at Talladega and just as much of a fun one this week here at Kansas.
Yeah, Dean, and we're going to be starting the final race of the first round of the round of 15. It's going to be the third race. It's going to be the Monster 125 at Dover International Speedway. You can check that out on our YouTube page. That's going to be in 2 weeks. We're going to take a week off, so we'll be back here 2 weeks from today, Wednesday, May 12th at 9:30 p.m. Central, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Truck Series. But, buddy, I mean, if it's anything like tonight, I'm excited for tomorrow night. We got the second race of the playoffs for the Xfinity Series here at Speed Racing Network. We're going to be back here tomorrow night, April 29th at 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern for the Buschy McBuschy Lite 150 at Kansas. Dean, what are you looking forward to here tomorrow night?
Man, I tell you, after watching some of the racing here tonight, it'll be so fun to see what those Xfinity cars do with so much more horsepower and a lot less downforce. I think you're going to see much of what you did tonight, multi-groove racing. I think you're going to see some guys have to run every inch of outside wall that they can later into a tire run to be able to keep some speed up. And man, if it's anything like it was this evening, tomorrow night should be an absolute blast. So yeah, come out, tune in with us tomorrow night for the Speed Racing Network Buschy McBuschy Lite 150, Thursday, April 29th. Starting at 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern.
And it's going to be a great race. And, you know, as always here at Speed Racing Network, we thank you for checking us out. Make sure to come back tomorrow. And lastly, we always remember you to go faster.